people use the word vocation from the Latin vocare, meaning to call, in reference to the call to be a priest, sister, or brother. However, the Catholic understanding of vocation is much broader. Every baptized person has a vocation, a call, to love and serve God. How you choose to live out that vocation is what each person must discern. Some feel called to live as single or married to lay people. Others choose consecrated life and join a secular institute or religious community as sisters, priests, or brothers. Still others choose ordination as deacons or diocesan priests. Today, we speak to Father Godwin Nnandozie of the Missionaries of St. Paul, who is celebrating 25 years of priestly ordination. Let's walk with him as he takes us through his journey of faith.
This life is a journey, a path made for me. With every step I take, as I run this race, I'm becoming the person you call me to be. A child of God, a life redeemed. So I set my eyes on you, Jesus, I'm ready, I'm ready to go. Where you lead, I'll follow.
Who is Father Godwin?
My native name, my local name is Madokego. It simply means, if when you translate it loosely in English, it means that human person is greater than money. Okay. Human person is greater than money. And my last name, which is my surname, is Nnandozie. Simply means that when a father blesses his son, the son becomes somebody great. So my real name, my full name is Godwin Madokego Nnandozie. I was born in Nigeria, in a little town called Iyowa Odepe. That is not my town. Okay. So it's just a place where my parents were living as at that time. So yeah, as I was born there. But originally my town is Oraifite. But both the Iyowa Odepe, where I was born, and my town, Oraifite, belong to the state known as Anambra State in the eastern part of Nigeria. Yes, that is where I was born. And I grew up there. I attended my primary school there in the place where I was born at Iyowa Odepe. And when I went into secondary school, I moved to my town, which is Oraifite. Okay. And I did my secondary school in there. So when I finished my secondary school, I went to the seminary.
At what point during your secondary school life, I suppose, did you decide that's where you wanted to be? You wanted to be a priest?
Yeah, I don't know precisely when. But I know series of events that happened in my life. Okay. So these series of events gave rise to going to the seminary. Remember, going to the seminary was not necessary to become a priest. Oh. That is the whole, from when I was growing up, it was drummed into our consciousness that going to the seminary does not automatically translate into becoming a priest. Okay. So when you were going to, we were told when I was growing up in the youth groups, in the college seminars, that you go to the seminary to discern whether you want to be or not. Okay. So for us, from the early stage, seminary was a place of discernment. Yeah, so a place of discernment. So it was actually, the discernment actually took place in the seminary. Not before I went there, but of becoming a priest. So my going to the seminary was to go and check
if that's what
that is what I wanted.
I think most people think that when you go to the seminary, you already made up your mind.
No. We were really, because when I was growing up, I belonged to various religious groups. I belonged to the Saint Vincent de Paul. I belonged to Saint Antonio of Padua. I belonged to a prayer team known as the Block Rosary Crusade, and I belong to the charismatic movement. So in all these, in all these groups, the activities and the spiritual orientation helped me a lot to dispose myself towards the process of deciding whether this is what I want or not.
And during this whole thing, your family was very supportive?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Okay.
I had a big issue with my dad.
Oh, okay.
Yes. My mom put up a resistance in the early stage. But when I sat her down in the middle of the night and then cried a little bit and said, this is what I really wanted. So she gave up. She gave up and then said, okay, go ahead, pursue whatever interest, whatever life you want to live. I will support you. But my dad was very adamant. He told me, if you do this, I will disown you. And we have a ceremony in my place that when a father wants to disown a son, then you will go to the palm tree and get the tender part, the ones that have not spread. So you go to the palm tree and cut off the tender part that has not spread and put it by the door and tell the child, you now decide. If you cross the palm front, I will cut it, which means everything is gone.
Okay.
But if you don't cross it, which means everything is still okay. So my father came to that stage where he asked me that he's going to bring the palm front, that if I cross, he will cut. So I didn't allow it to get to that stage. So I went back. But he really put up a very strong resistance. The same with some of my uncles. So some of my uncles were also very resistant to it. But my mom and my senior brother and one of my uncles were the backbone. So they supported me and then in all the way.
What was it that your father wanted you to do instead of being a priest?
Very good. My father's brother is a politician, a very strong one. And so he insisted, he convinced my father that I'm intelligent enough to come into politics. So he wanted me to go to the university, do a course on political science, and then he himself will mentor me in politics. So that whenever he steps out, I can step in. And he promised my father that he will take me all the way and make sure that I find a place in the society. And my father bought into that idea. So whatever argument I'm putting up, he will always tell me. I was not able to convince him because he was insisting that there is still much more better life out there. And you can serve God better if you are in the political field. So that was his argument. And when he, I just want to use this to say this, that when people are angry, don't say much, because there are certain things you will say when you are angry and they will come back to haunt you. When my father was resisting that I will not go to seminary, he told me specifically that he will not be alive to see me a priest. And it came to pass, he was not alive. Really? He died in my second year in theology. So 2 years to finish, he died.
Came around to accepting you as a priest.
He never saw me as a priest. Okay. But I believe he's enjoying my prayers now.
We will hope so. You said there was a series of events that led up to you joining the seminary. Yeah. Would you like to give us an example of like an instrumental?
One of them was what we call the knackers convention. Knackers convention, knackers, that is Young Catholic Students Association. Young Catholic Student Association. And then this is for the whole of the, at that time we call it Onitsha Ecclesiastical Province, the whole of the eastern Nigeria. So there were around 7 dioceses at that time. So every secondary school is allowed to send 100 students to this camp every year. So every secondary school is asked to send 100 students to this camp. And then the camp lasts for 1 week. And then the priests, the sisters, the seminarians will be there to talk to young students
inspire them.
And inspire them and relate with them one-on-one.
Okay.
And so you can ask questions, you can express your fears, and if a young seminarian cannot answer you adequately, he will pass you over to some other person. So this experience or experiences, because I went a couple of times, really
more than once.
helped. Yes, I went more than once. So helped me to.
This convention is part of the reason why there are so many priests coming from Africa.
Yes, I think so. But because apart from that, in every part or most part of Africa, there is always something that has been put up to help young people to embrace vocation at early stage. For instance, we have what we call the junior seminary, which is different from the senior seminary. The junior seminary is like secondary school, but it is geared towards mentoring you, monitoring you, molding you for religious life.
Yeah, that's very good. What advice do you have to give to a young person considering religious life?
Oh, the problem is not with the young people. I must tell you, I am a priest, and this is my 25th year in the priesthood. So I've been a missionary priest in so many African countries and Europe. So I have seen a little bit of the world in a larger extent. And one of the big problems, challenges the youth in Grenada are facing is parental upbringing. Parental upbringing. This is our highest challenge. And it's affecting so many things. So people should not put the blame on the young people. No, the blame go much, 75% to the parents. Because as a parent, you have to create the environment. You have to, for the young person, you have to create the environment. You have to lead by example. Young people, I know when I was growing up, I remember most of the things my parents did. I don't remember what they said, but I remember vividly what they did. I remember how my mother used to sit behind us in the church and their talk, and she will hold your ear and twist it. Once she twists your ear, she will not say anything and she will fold her hands, and nobody will tell you to behave. You know,
got the message.
You got the message very well. And then if I'm looking left when I'm supposed to be looking right, you will hold my head, twist it to the other extreme, and twist it back to the center. And with that, the message is communicated. So you don't see that. You know, you don't see that again in Grenada.
Not trained from a young age.
And when I speak to people of my age, they testify that their grandmothers, their grandfather did exactly what I'm saying. So people in my age experience this, but people in your age have not experienced this. So these are the problem of parenting. So the problem, vocation problem, religious problem, commitment problem to religious life will come and start in the family. And that when people are blaming the young people, I say, no, don't blame them. In Latin we say, nemo dat non quod habet. You cannot give what you do not have.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the truth about it. Then what will I say to the young people? Do not be discouraged. In every dark situation, God has a way of working. Any young person, listen to me, just make up your mind that I'm going to listen to God and I'm going to hear what God is saying to me. Listen to God and hear what God is saying to you and follow him. He will never disappoint. You know, the help that our parents will give and all those kind of things are just extraordinary, but God gives them men help.
So you're here in Grenada, far away from
home,
whatever family, and so you would have left. Do you ever get lonely down here?
But in the life of a priest, there is nothing like loneliness. That is what many people don't understand. So they think that we are lonely. I tell you, we are not. We are not lonely. You can be alone, but you are not lonely. Personally, me as Father Godwin, I'm speaking from I even beg for time to rest. I beg for time to rest. You know, yeah. Like just this morning, I went for mass in the morning. I conducted catechism, classes for those who are preparing for baptism. I conducted baptism. I held series of meetings with those who are preparing for funerals. And I'm here doing this interview. When I finish this interview, the choir is coming. And then we will start the choir practice, and we might end around 9. Oh. Then I have to go and drop some of them that have no transport, and by the time I will be coming back to my house, it's around 11. And then I have to prepare for tomorrow for mass. So you see, I'm getting to bed around 12:1. Then on and then praying that no call comes from Nigeria, because it's 5 hours difference.
Oh, okay.
So when at 5 a.m. when they are waking up in the morning, say, okay, let me call Father and complain of ABC. That 5 a.m. is my 12 midnight. Then I'm trying to get into the bed, and the person might talk for 30 minutes, 1 hour. You will be listening, even if you are not. Yes, I'm hearing you. So there is nothing like loneliness in the life of a priest, except somebody chooses to be lazy. You know, there are a priest
to isolate
exactly. A priest might choose to be lazy. The work that he needs to do, he refuses to do them, and then glues his eyes on the television and buries his head on the tablets. That is life. You can't change it. But the life of a priest is never lonely. You can be alone. Yeah, you need to be alone to accomplish so many things. There are times people will like to visit me. I say, don't come. I said, don't come. And they say, but Father, are you not lonely? I said, no, I'm not. I need to be alone to be able to accomplish so many things. I need time for prayer. I need time for reflection. Because at times, people call you, oh, Father, can you come and give us a talk? They think that there is this talk, you are manufacturing them. You have manufactured all of them and kept them there.
Yes.
So to be on the safe side, I have to always try to prepare 1 or 2 talks ahead. Oh, okay. And that is why,
I'm spared.
Yes, that is why when people call me to give a talk, I say, do you have a topic? If they say, no, we don't have a topic, I do sign of the cross. I say, thank God. I'll just go to one of my prepared speech,
and you pull
it out, dust it very well, readjust it. I have a talk to give.
It's a very handy technique, Father.
Yes. So, but if they have topic, you have to struggle with the topic. You have to go in and discuss and get it done.
Okay. What is, if anything, what is one thing you dream of doing someday?
I think I have done everything I need to do.
Very satisfied.
I think I have done. The only thing I dreamed, prayed for, longed for was to become a priest. Yeah. And for 25 years I have been doing that. So God has really blessed me immensely and abundantly. So
the only goal now is to get to heaven.
Thank you. I think that is the only thing I'm dreaming about.
Okay.
To get to heaven.
That's very good. I notice a lot of priests have MSP after the name. You being one of them.
Yes.
I believe it means Missionaries of St. Paul.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that, please?
Oh, yes. That is my congregation. In the church, we have groupings. You know, we have groupings. Some of us are called the secular priests. Those of them who are diocesans and who work within the diocesan area. And here we can talk of people like Father Carl, Father Gerard Paul. So they are diocesan priests. They are ordained for this diocese of St. George's in Grenada. They work here, they live here, they're pastor here. Even if they go out, they will still come back here. And there are some of us who are religious by nature. Religious in the sense that they live in community. They live in community. We talk of the Dominicans. The Dominicans, the Spiritans are the Holy Ghost, the Holy Ghost fathers. So these are religious, and there are so many of them. There's so many of them. Then we have what we call the Society of Apostolic Life, of which me, MSP, belong to the Society of Apostolic Life. St. Patrick Fathers, Father Sean, they also belong to that group, Societies of Apostolic Life. We are missionaries of St. Paul of Society of Apostolic Life. They are St. Patrick Fathers of the Society of Apostolic Life. So Why apostolic life? In the sense that we practice a little bit of what the diocesans practice, and we practice a little bit of what the religious practice.
Okay.
So we don't own properties per se, but the dioceses can own property, but we don't own property. So anything we own them together, or we own them for the church. So where you are living, you leave it there and go, knowing that wherever you are going, there is also something there for you. So that is the Missionary Society of St. Paul. Is a society of apostolic life, founded in Nigeria. Yeah, it was founded in Nigeria by one of our top churchmen, Cardinal Dominic Ikandem. So he founded it, and then he founded in 1977.
Okay, quite recent.
Well, yes,
Recent enough.
yes, recent enough. Yeah, and since then the congregation has grown. We have over 300 members scattered all over the world, in America, Canada, United Kingdom, many parts of Africa, and here in the Caribbean. We work here in Grenada. So here in Grenada we are only three of us. But remember, we have been working here for a long time. So many of the MSPs have passed through Grenada. So, but currently we are only three remaining: myself, Father Kufri, and Father Augustus.
Okay.
Father Augustus in Victoria, Kufri in the cathedral, and myself here in Tivoli. Yeah. So if the bishop press hard enough, he might get one other person. If not, we just do what we can do and keep going. So we don't, as I'm sitting here with you, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. So all I'm waiting for is just a piece of letter. Father Godwin, you are hereby transferred from point A to point B. Before the next 24 hours, I'm in the next plane, heading to the next place.
Hopefully the letter doesn't come soon.
Yes. We pray that the letter will not come soon.
So, Father, what gives you the energy to keep going, keep active in the community and so on?
Two things, prayer and food.
Very necessary things. Very necessary things.
Prayer, very, very important, very, very important. And I can testify that in my younger years as a priest, I was not as prayerful as I am now.
No.
Because at that time, I was thinking that I could get many things accomplished, you know, by running up and down, pushing people down, and, you know, trying to use the energy to accomplish so many things. But as time goes on, I discovered that, yes, I can run around, but those running around lack some kind of quality. You know, they lack some kind of quality. Then I started relying more on prayer. I started relying more on prayer, and that is why, you know, I give time for adoration. Every Wednesday is my day of adoration and the day of prayer, and then I pray every day that I don't miss a mass on a day. So no matter what it is, I have to make sure, if not with the people, at least as a priest, I must offer the mass for myself. So prayer has become my real backbone, the drive. And also notice that the more I pray, the more the temptation to sin reduces. I'm telling you the truth. The more I pray, the more temptation to sin reduces. And when I notice that my prayer life has gone down, is when I begin to see myself in so many temptations. I know that now your prayer life is going down. So I have to intensify it. So, and then that has helped me a lot to keep my energy, keep focused, and keep praying. And as I said, another thing I have discovered too is that as I keep aging, there is a need to take care of my health. I try to avoid medications by trying to go on normal diet. I try to natural things. I try to drink herbs. I don't drink tea. I drink herbs. I pick the herbs myself, boil them and drink them. And then I try to watch what I eat. And then because at this my age, the issues of high blood pressure, the issues of sugar, all those things begin to come up. So I'm conscious of that, and I work on it, and I try to check from time to time. If my sugar start going level, I cut down on certain things, and then I know there will come a time I have to resort to medication, but not yet.
Hold up for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Being a priest from 25 years now, what's the difference? What's the difference in challenges and so you face 25 years ago versus now?
One of the things I'm noticing as a priest is that the challenges diminish and grows as you keep growing in the priesthood. In the early stages of my life as a young priest, it was more about moral challenges, the challenges around morality. And then as a young man, fresh from the seminary, in my early 30s, and then there are young ladies of your age, they compete with you as if they are competing with any other person. They don't see the difference. Whatever you are saying, they see the man behind the mask. So, and that was a big challenge for a young man. But as the time that phase passed out, another phase developed, and the phase of material challenges. So there is a stage one reaches in life. There is this need to be comfortable, to settle down, and all those things. And the challenge comes from that area. So I have to make conscious effort to keep to my vow that I have to live a simple life. And the fact is that the life of a priest is so trickish that some people are ready out there to give you whatever you want, provided and then take you out of your goal and out of your focus. Yes, exactly, to get you off the path. So if you are not sensitive and wise enough, you fall into that. So these are the temptations and the challenges that are there. But now that I have reached this stage, there is a little bit of stability. I have overcome, by the grace of God, the youthful exuberances. Those ones are gone. I see many people now, like my sons and my daughters, people like you as my granddaughter. So the age has put me in a privileged position. So I thank God for that. And it also removes one from certain unnecessary temptations and challenges. And then as a priest in my age, so I don't foresee myself going without a roof over my head. It can never happen again in this world. So yes, the highest thing they can do is they can take me to old people's home. They can take me to old people's home, or then they can take me to one of the priests where I will live downstairs and then be coming out. So you see that those challenges that come around, I have relatively overcome them, and that gives me a little bit of confidence to carry on my life and my work, focusing on God and praying for heaven.
If you can go back in time, Father, with the passing of your father just shortly before, as you were going into the priesthood, what would you change? Would you change a decision or so, or do something differently to convince him?
How I wish you asked me this question 15 years ago. If you had asked me this question 15 years ago, I would have marshaled out so many things. But with the level I am now, and with my experiences about God, I don't think there is anything I will do differently. Everything happens for a reason, and everything has a purpose, and anything that is happening in my life is geared towards a particular end and a particular purpose. I may not see it now, but that will not change God's purpose. So that is the way I see things now, and that is what is influencing my answer right now. For me, it has been, if I am to say certain things, I would say as a young priest, there are certain actions I took, there are certain decisions I took that if I am given the opportunity, I will go and change them. For instance, there are occasions I have gone into loggerhead, serious fight with parish council, so that this is the way I want it and we have to get it this way. But now I would have done it differently. Is that the way you want it? Carry go. So I would have, but that was that age. By that age, a way to feel to let people know that you are in charge, that you have authority over this. I have passed that stage. It doesn't bother me again. Whatever the people want to do, my own is to give them support and make sure they do it according to the way God will want it to be done, and to supervise it and make sure that stubborn people don't hijack it.
Is there any message you have for family, friends, or well-wishers?
Well, for my family members, my message to them is message of appreciation. They have been there for the past 25 years, and you didn't ask me this question, but let me give you an idea. I have worked in so many places, traversing from one end of the world to the another end of the world. I started my journey as a young priest in Nigeria. I did 1 year, I worked just 1 year in Nigeria as a priest, and I was posted to South Africa, and I was there for 6 years in South Africa, and then I came back to Nigeria, and then I went into school apostolate. I was a principal, I was a teacher, I was a parish priest, juggling all of them together. And then from there I moved to another mission outside Nigeria. I went to Gambia, where I spent 5 years. And then I went for studies. I did a master's degree in counseling psychology, and then came back, went back to the teaching profession, and then I decided later be posted here to Grenada. So in all this movement, they have been there. So they call, they ask. At times, if I'm broke, I call. I say, please send help. And I have a funny argument I make with them. Oh, Father, you always call for money. I say, because I'm doing my part. My part is to pray for God to bless you. So if I pray and God has blessed you, you have to do your part to me. Yes. So generally, I say I appreciate them, and then my friends and well-wishers, especially my parishioners here in Tivoli, they have been wonderful. People of God in Grenada generally. I have been to most of the parishes, either going there to give retreat or to give talk or to do one spiritual program. The people have been very wonderful, and I appreciate them, and I encourage them. Let's keep the faith going. It's not yet Uhuru. Uhuru means happy mood. Yeah, it's not yet Uhuru, but we will get there. We will surely get there. So thank you, people. Thank you for everything, and I appreciate it. And thank you to God for letting me see 25 years in the priesthood. I think now I should be singing the Nunc Dimittis. Nunc Dimittis is the prayer of Simeon. When he came to the temple and saw Jesus Christ, and he held him in his hand and said, at last, all-powerful Master, you give leave to your servant to go in peace. If I go in peace now, I'm happy. I'm a fulfilled man. So I can go in and say, God, look, I have a certificate of 25 years service to you.
You can take me now.
Yes. So reward me for the 25 years, I'll be okay.
So let's say thank you as well, Father, for all the work that you have put into the community here, to all the other parishes and schools, and so that you have influenced the lives that you have touched. Thank you for your service, your continued service. I hope, well, maybe not 25 years, but maybe at least 10.
Thank you. Thank you. That is the language.
This life is a journey, a path made for me. with every step I take. As I run this race, I'm becoming the person you call me to be, a child of God,